Yesterday we just talked about what a sequence is. We said it's a set of ordered numbers. So what is an arithmetic sequence? It's still a set of ordered numbers, but what makes it a special sequence? Any ideas? Some of you know. Or, and so what we say is, it's a set of ordered numbers with a common difference. Meaning, any two consecutive numbers that you subtract, no matter where it is in the sequence, would always equal the same number, right? The word difference means subtracting. So if you take any two consecutive numbers anywhere in the sequence, it would always equal the same answer. And when we look at it, you're thinking you're always adding the same number or you're always subtracting the same number. And that sequence is called arithmetic. So I already led you to this one. What is a common difference? So the common difference is the difference between any two consecutive terms. So the difference between any two consecutive terms. And we usually use the letter D represent the common difference. So let's see if we can just understand arithmetic, and this is the easy part of the lesson, looking at an arithmetic sequence. So look at number one. Look carefully. Do you understand why number one is an arithmetic sequence? And your answer should be yes, because I see a common difference. So, do you know what the common difference is? Look carefully. If the common difference is the difference between any two consecutive terms, can you take any two consecutive terms and subtract? Now, if the common difference is positive, that means you're adding. If the common difference was a negative number, that means you're subtracting or adding a negative number, if you want to see, however you want to see that. Now it says, find the next four terms. So right now, what would be the next term after 61? Then, and then what are we doing every time? Just adding 8. All right, let's try number 2. It's a little bit more challenging, not greatly challenging, when the numbers are negative. But I can tell you it's easy to make a mistake when looking at negative numbers. Can you tell me the common difference? And yes, it matters if that number is negative or positive. So think, what is the common difference? And it matters if the answer is positive 3 or negative 3. So do you believe the answer is positive 3 or negative 3? And the answer is it's negative 3 because you're subtracting. The numbers are getting smaller, not greater. Because when you look at negative numbers, it can be confusing, right? Because you have to think, oh yeah, the negative numbers that are getting bigger negative means it's really getting smaller. Negative numbers that are getting closer to 0 are actually getting bigger or greater. I know, just takes a moment to think about it. What are the next 4 terms? Write them down. I'll write them down. You write them down. Go for it. So, if I'm subtracting 3, did you get negative 22, negative 25, negative 28, negative 31? All right, try number 3. Tell me the common difference. Are the numbers increasing or decreasing? So that means the common difference has to be negative, and they're going down by what number every time? So can you find the next 4 terms using that rule? All right, let's do it one more time. I know it's simple. Look carefully at number 4. Is the sequence increasing or is it decreasing? It's a good thing to think about because then you don't make a mistake with the sign. So if it's increasing, the common difference is going to be positive. And what is it increasing by every time? And if you don't like going negative 12 to 7, then use the next pair, 7 to 26, if that's easier. And that number is 19. And then can you add 19 over and over again? For the next 4 terms. So, before I do the next thing, and I'm going to go a little bit off script for the next one. Before I do the next one, tell me what an arithmetic sequence is again. It's a set of ordered numbers with a, and a common difference means you take any 2 consecutive numbers and subtract, and the answer is always the same. And in your head, you're thinking you're always adding or subtracting the same number over and over again, right? That's called arithmetic. The next thing we need to do is come up with a rule or a formula for an arithmetic one, okay? But instead of just giving you a formula, we're going to think about it first. Is that okay? So, I'm going to go off script. I'm going to give you a sequence. A simple sequence. One, 3, 5, 7, 9. Is that an arithmetic sequence? Yes. Why? There's a common difference. And the common difference is 2. Now, a sequence can also be written as a function, meaning it can be written as an ordered pair. And the domain, or kind of the x values, is the term number. So in other words, the first term, the answer is 1. The second term, the answer is 3. The fifth term, the answer is, The third term, the answer is 5. The fourth term, the answer is 7. The fifth term, the answer is 9. What I want you to do is I want you to plot those points using Desmos and tell me what picture you see. So I want you to take out Desmos on your Chromebook or phone. Of course, I love it that it's downloaded on your phone. That's your best calculator as you can go into college and calculus and everything. And believe it or not, in university now, more and more, they use Desmos as a graphical calculator rather than a TI calculator. So I want you to open Desmos. And I want you to plot these points. Do you know how to plot points with Desmos? So literally you can just put in parentheses, 1, 1, close it, in the same line. Like you just go this, literally type this in, this in, this in, this in, this in, same line. And what will you see? You know, do you see the points go plop, plop, plop as you do it? Okay, when you expand out, if you connected the dots, what picture would you see? What math picture do you see? That's what I want to get at. As I'm walking around, does anyone not know how to do it? And yet, right. And if you want them all the same color, you listening to me? You could have put it all. You could have put them all in the same line. Like, they don't need to be in different boxes. Like, one box, you could have all of them. You know what I mean? But it's pretty because it kind of looks like Christmas, right? It's different colors. But more importantly, when you connect the dots, what math picture do you see? I see a circle. No, I don't see a circle. I see a parabola.
I see a triangle.
No. Triangle. What math picture do you see? A cube root. Rosie, they're trying to tell you that you mistyped one. And Clarissa's going to be like, here you go. A straight line compared to like those crooked lines, which I hate mathematically, right? Hey, so I want you to discover something simple. And the simple is, arithmetic means linear. Arithmetic means linear. And if I say it 10 times, you'll maybe not forget it. Arithmetic means linear. Arithmetic means linear. Arithmetic means linear. So, when we come up with a formula, because we're going to go back to the script, the formula is going to be the formula for a line. The formula for a line.
Yes.
Do you know there's different ways? Listen to me. Do you know there's different ways to write an equation of a line? There is y equals mx plus b. That's called slope-intercept form. There's something called point-slope form. You know what point-slope form is? It's y minus y1 mx, x minus x1. There is something called standard form. ax plus by equals c, right? But the most powerful form of all, feel like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, right? The most powerful one of all the reindeers, is called HK form. Because it is powerful, because it is simple. And all you need to know is the slope and a point. Are you familiar with the HK form of a line? Yes or no? I'm going to write it down right now.
Oh, wait.
So the HK form of a line is m x subtract h plus k, where m is the slope and hk is any point on the line. As long as you know a point on the line and the slope, in one step, there it is, done. I don't need to try to change the form or work 5 minutes on it. I can do it in 2 seconds. I know a point, I know the slope, done. So we start with the slope. You already have the math sense, and when it's inside the function or inside the parentheses, you change the sign, and then k stays the same. So when I give you the formula in a second, I want you to think of the HK form of a line. What keeps going ding? So, let's go. So, can we go back to the formula? But you know where it comes from? When I say arithmetic, Eddie, do I need to move you? No. So when I say arithmetic, what should you think? Period. You should think linear, line. When I give you a formula, it's just a linear equation. When I give you the formula, it's just a linear equation. Okay? And for a linear equation, we need the point and the slope. Here's the big connection. You ready? The common difference, can you look off your graph again? Is it in front of you? Okay, this is all I want you to do, because I love it when you listen and don't talk over me and care about it, and then you don't fail quizzes, right? Can you tell me the slope between any 2 points you just did on your graph? Can you just count? It's 2. So when you go back and say, hey, what do you recognize? What's 2 in the sequence that you wrote down? 2 is what? 2 is the, this is a big concept for today. 2 is the what of your sequence? 2 is the slope of your line, but 2 in your sequence is the common difference. So, when I know the common difference, you just found the, and if you know any term, that's a point. So all you need to know is one of the terms, not necessarily the first one, maybe the first one, but if you don't know the first one, it doesn't matter. You need to know the common difference, which is the slope, and any term, which is a point, and then you just, done. Yay? Okay. Hey, I love that kind of echo. I'm listening. What do you say?
Which is linear?
What is linear? Arithmetic is linear. So when we do, Nancy, when we do an arithmetic sequence, it's just a linear equation. And the common difference is the slope of the line, and a term is a point on your line. That's all you need. And then you have a equation. But if I just gave you a formula like it came from heaven above, and it has no reason behind it, like here it is, you won't get an understanding behind it. Yay?
Sir.
Oh.
All right, back. So, here's the formula. AN. We don't have X's and Y's. AN. This, I'm going to write it in the HK form because it'll have more power as you do other things. D is the slope. And I'm going to write down. D is the common difference. Here, common difference. But it's also the what? So you don't forget. Then inside the parentheses, instead of X, we have the letter N. And then the formula is based on if you know the first term. Now, if you don't know the first term, you can change this. So if you know the first term, the number you put in is 1. And then after the parentheses, you write down what the actual term is. And we call that A1. But let's say you knew the second term. Then this would be 2, and this would be A2. Or if you knew the 10th term, this would be 10, and this would be A10. Like 1 and A1 is a point, and the common difference is the slope, and we're just using a linear equation because arithmetic means linear. And some of you just want, give me the formula and I'll remember it and I'll use it and not know what the heck it comes from, right? And I want to get away a little bit from that. So, arithmetic means linear. Common difference is the slope, and any term is a point. And so this formula is not in stone. If you knew a different term, like the 8th term is 20, you could put in 8 and 20 and use the same formula and not waste time trying to figure out what the first term is and then using the formula. I'm trying to help you and save time. Here we go. Number 5. I'll do the first one. I need you to wake up and help me. You ready? Is number 5 an arithmetic sequence? Why? Because there's a common, yay, of what number? Good. So I'm going to write down the common difference is, did you say 6? I'll write that down. You almost confused me. 6. And of course the common difference is the slope. Hey, do I know a point, a term in the sequence? Yay. That we know the first term is 7. If I didn't know the first term, I could use any term number and still get the correct rule and the correct answer at the end. So what rule is this for arithmetic? So the common difference is 6, not x, but n minus 1, first term. And then what is the first term? Done. That's the rule. And once we have, now is that an explicit rule? or a recursive rule? That's correct. Explicit. Now, the power of explicit is, tell me the 900th term. 900. Oh, man. Right? But 900 is no biggie because you just plug in 900 and get your answer. If it was recursive, what must you know is the term before it. So if I want to know 900, I have to know 899. Not as powerful. Okay. So this is what again? Explicit. So, did you write a rule? Then which term am I finding? So just plug in 32. And then answer it. Yes, now you can use a calculator. Or your brain. If Desmos was up, guess what Desmos is? Oh yeah, a calculator. I don't get it. Just type this into the bar and the answer will pop up like magic. And what's the answer? All right, move on. Number 6. Now it's your turn. Can you write a rule, and can you use the rule to find the 24th term? Go. Your turn.
Yeah, I just felt like you would be the person that would actually. I'm sorry. Disney Plus. All the Simpsons are on Disney Plus. Every episode. There you go.
You want something that blows your mind? What grade was I in when The Simpsons first came on? And I watched it. That already will blow your mind, right? What grade was I in? And the answer is, I was in 10th grade the first time The Simpsons were on. And it was, they called the Tracy Ullman Show, and it was like these little shorts in the middle of the Tracy Ullman Show. That is like not 10 years ago. It's been around a long time. Hey, do you know the common difference here is negative? Do you know why it's a negative number and it matters? Because the sequence is decreasing. And it's decreasing by how much every time? And the answer is negative 11. Do you know one of the terms? You can use any of them, but you might as well use the first term, which is 4. So then what's the rule? Start with the common difference, change the sign, and then keep the sign. Oh, I made a mistake. That's a 1 and 4. So the first term is what answer? 4. There's the rule. Then, if I want to find the 24th term, what number do I plug in for n? And I allow you to use your calculator. Desmos, tell me the 24th term. So on your phone, instead of turning it sideways, you can do that, or an 89, or an Nspire, or whatever you want to use. But don't just wait for me to write down the answer. Can you come up and find the 24th term? Okay, try number 7, try number 8. Did you hear what I said, Jose? Open up Desmos. I know it's on your phone. And start getting comfortable with that calculator rather than the one that's like embedded in your phone. When you take the SBAC next year as juniors, guess what calculator is embedded in the SBAC? I'll give you a clue. It starts with the letter D. Ends with S. Has like an ESMO in the middle. So, it's embedded in the exam is Desmos. So when you have a question where you need a calculator, they embed Desmos in the question. Where you open it in that question, there's an icon. You like click the icon. What opens up? Desmos. All right, try number 7, try number 8. can you write a rule? Why is it arithmetic number 7? Because there's a common difference. Are the numbers increasing or decreasing? And you have to be careful when all you see are negatives. Is that increasing or decreasing? So negative numbers that are getting closer to 0, increasing. So it's a positive number. And the number is positive 4. You can use the first term. You could also use any of them to write down the rule. So the rule is 4 and subtract 1, take away 23. Then you're asked for the 45th term. So you have an explicit rule where you can just plug in whatever term you're looking for. You're allowed to use your calculator. Use Desmos or your TI calculator. And the 45th term is 153. Number 8. I like hearing that, Michael. Number 8, let's go. So, is number 8 arithmetic? You're probably assuming it, right? Because it's in the arithmetic lesson. Why? Because there's a common difference. Is it increasing or decreasing? It is decreasing, so the common difference is going to be, and if you make a mistake with the sign, you're not going to get a correct answer, obviously, for whatever the term you're looking for. And it's negative 2.5. We know the first term is negative 3. You practice writing down the rule, and then use the rule, and you can use your calculator. Jen, do you have your phone with you?
Yeah.
Then take out your phone and use Desmos. Because you forgot your calculator, right? All right, so take out your phone and use Desmos. Do you really want to multiply with negative numbers? So it's negative 2.5 and subtract 1, take away 3. Then I'm going to substitute in, we're looking for the 39th term. So I plug in 39, and I said use your calculator. I'll just wait for you to write down the answer. I know I can do it, but I won't. No, I don't want you to think that way. When you're ready, turn the page. Anyway, the answer is negative 98. Turn the page. Here we go. So, this page, it's more powerful to understand it as a linear equation because you may not be given the first term. It doesn't matter. As long as you know the common difference, any term you can use. All right, here we go. The first term is 29. The common difference is 7. Can you find the 36th term? So write down the rule and then plug in. Now, if it asks you for the third term, you just go plus 7, right? But if it gives you a big number, the rule is better. So write down the rule, then use it with your calculator. So there's the rule. You're looking for the 36th term. So plug in 36. It's important that as you do work and a quiz and an exam in this, that if you're allowed to use a calculator, you write down what you put in the calculator and not keep it in your head and just type it down like I know what I put in the calculator and just put down the answer. You hear me?
Yes.
You write down what you're putting in the calculator, then you use your calculator. And don't just go, I know what's in my head, and you just use your calculator. All right, number 10. Can you write a rule? The 22nd term is negative 156, and the common difference is So, can you write a rule with the 22nd term? I don't know the first term. So how do I adjust the rule? So the common difference is negative 9. Now, am I going to use 1? No. Instead, what number do I use? Because the 22nd term is what answer? That is called the HK form of a line. Can you see how powerful it is when you don't know the first term? You can adjust the rule and still come up with it quickly. And what are you asked to find? So guess what number you put in for n? 1. And then use your calculator. What's the first term? Did you get 33? Try number 11. I'll let you read it, and then I'll support you if you want to listen. So look at number 11 and see what you're being asked to find. Did you read it? Common difference means the what? Oh, there's a slope formula. So, do you know what the slope formula is? Oh, I heard it. So it's y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. Yes? Slope formula? Do you know that A1 equals 11 is a what? A1 equals 11 is a point. A25 equals 107 is a point. And if you have 2 points, can you find the slope between 2 points using that formula? Now we're going to change the letters. So now it's not M but D. What am I subtracting for the Y's? 107 and what am I subtracting for the X's? 25 and 1. Use your calculator. That goes in evenly, right? So the common difference is 4. Try number 12. Read number 12. I like supporting you if you're listening. I really do. I'm listening.
Oh, yeah, I find this. That's
And I couldn't do it that way, but I wouldn't do it.
What did you do?
I just wrote it.
And you can use the formula, right? And plug in and find it as well, right? Both ways. Now, I like connecting this to something that's like the real math that we already know, like lines and equations of lines. And what it does is it reminds and reviews you, right, what you need to know. Rather than memorizing a formula that's not connected to anything you've done before. But you're right. How you did it, you could also do it. So if I asked you, do you understand what I did?
Yeah.
This is a really important formula, even as we get into calculus, that slope formula. So I just wanted, any chance I get to remind you of like last year or whatever, right? Because what we don't practice, we forget all the time. So right now we're trying number 12. Hey, what am I given? I'm given 2 terms, is that right? 2 terms means how many points? 1 point is 1/5, the other is 18 and negative 199. I need you to find the common difference. How do I find the common difference when I know any 2 terms in an arithmetic sequence? Is I find the y2 minus y1, x2 minus Excellent. Once you know the common difference, use either point, come up with a rule, and then you're off and going. Yay?
I got it.
So first you have to know the common difference. There's no way around it. Once you know the common difference, you can use either point to write a rule down and then use it and get your answer. We good?
Oh yeah.
So in this case, negative 199, subtract 5, and then the denominator is 18 subtract 1. So negative 204 over 17. I don't know if that goes in. Does it go in nicely? So negative 12. Now, I'm going to use the easier point. So what would the rule be? Would be negative 12 and subtract 1 plus 5. And then once you have a rule, what am I looking for? The 13th term. So now that you have the rule, plug in 13 and you get your answer. The key was, can you use the slope formula to find the common difference, and then it should get easier. Did you get the answer negative 139? Okay, try number 13. Take the information given and find what it's looking for. So read it. What does that mean, find n? That means find what term number is negative 76, right? Is it the 5th term, the 8th term, the 20th term? What term number is negative 76, right? That's what we're looking for. 13. No. We have a linear rule to write down. So the linear rule is an equals. The linear rule is an equals. What's the common difference? Right? If we write down the linear rule over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, you'll remember it. So we start with an equals negative 5 n minus 1 subtract 21, right? Then it tells you an equals what number? So then plug in negative 76. Now this one is not explicit, meaning I can't just plug it in my calculator yet. I got to do a little bit of algebra to solve for n. Do you see the setup? Plug in negative 76. And what term number is negative 76? That's what we're looking for. So we're going to distribute. So negative 5n plus 5, take away 21. We're going to combine like terms. Then we're going to add 16 to both sides. Negative 76 plus 16 is negative 60. And then divide by negative 5. So what is n equal then? N is the 12th term. Would you be in trouble if n equaled a negative number doing the algebra? N could never be a negative number. You don't have a negative 5th term. So you would know you made a mistake if n equaled negative something, because it'd have to be a positive whole number for it to work. Okay, try 14. So for 14, we start with the rule. In the rule, using the common difference, 13, we know the first term, so it's minus 1 and negative 15. So the first term is negative 15. AN is 310. And then you do the algebra and solve for n. Are you done, Chris? Chris? You can't hear me? I called your name 3 times. Can you hear me? Did you already solve for n and you're waiting?
Yes.
Did Thomas solve for n and you're waiting?
Yes, sir.
Thomas, what's the answer?
It's 26.
So you add 28. Does 13 go into 338 evenly? And you're right. The answer is 26. Now, let's go back to understanding explicit versus recursive.
For the quiz, do we have to use that formula?
What formula do you want to use?
Well, like the n, to find the n. Like to do all that work.
What did you do to find the n?
Oh, I just found the difference. Like,
The difference is given, right, which is 13?
yeah, but like for...
Oh, you just kept adding 13 to negative 15?
No, for 310, I just added 15. And then I got 325, I think, and I just divided by 13, and I got 25, and I added 1.
I like that you have a different way to do it, because that's a way to double check that you did it correctly. But I need you to be comfortable with a linear equation in the algebra. Do you see me?
Yeah.
So I want to see this, but I like that you know a second way that you could double check that you did it correctly. All right, number 15. Shh. Here we go. You ready? Chris, is number 15 an arithmetic sequence? Why? What is the common difference? So, do you know how to write down an explicit rule? Do you know how to write down a recursive rule for an arithmetic sequence? So the explicit is what we've been working on. So what is the explicit if the common difference is 2? What number do we start with? And the first term is negative 19. How do I write down a recursive rule? What is that going to look like differently? Well, the recursive rule takes the term before it. Remember what symbol we use for the term before? And then all we do to the term before is do what? Add 2. What we've been working with is explicit. The recursive takes the term before it, and what do? Add 2. Do you see the difference between the two rules? Okay, number 16. Marilyn, is 16 an arithmetic sequence? Why? What is the common difference? Perfect. So, if I'm writing an explicit rule, Nancy, what would the explicit rule be? What should I write down? Negative 6. Perfect. Good job listening. And then recursive, what will that look like? Cristobal. So it's, remember that symbol there, right? The term before it? And what do we do to the term before to get the answer is we subtract 6, right? Do you see the difference between the two? All right, turn the page. We're almost done our lesson. What? You're in luck. There's more. All right, write down the terms between any two non-consecutive terms in an arithmetic sequence are called arithmetic means. So when you're told to find the arithmetic means, you are going to be given two terms that aren't beside each other. The numbers in between those two terms are called the arithmetic means. So you're given the second term and the eighth term. When you find the terms in between them, that's called the arithmetic means. So the terms between any two non-consecutive terms in an arithmetic sequence. So let's see what that means. Given the sequence 2, 8, 14, 20, 26, and 32, the arithmetic means between 8 and 32 would be, well, what are the numbers between them? 14, 20, and 26. So you're given the ends, the numbers that are in between them in the sequence are called the arithmetic means. So let's see if we can do it. Number 17, 50 and 118, how many means are there? So we go, how many numbers then are there in between 50 and 118? Do you see the connection there? What don't I know that I need to find? I need to find the, do I just put in whatever? Do I guess and check? What do I need to know that I don't know? The common difference. The common difference is the slope. How do I find the slope? y2 minus y1 over. Now in this case, we're just going to see what we see. So 118 is what term number? 5. And 50 is? Okay, solve it. 118 take away 50. What's 118? I'm doing that wrong. 88, right? And 4? 88 divided by 4, is it 22? 17? 68. What am I doing? 68 divided by 4. What is that? 17. Once you know that, is it easy now to find the numbers in between? So add 17, and the means were 67. Add 17 again. See if I can do this. 84. Add 17 again. You get 101. And if you add 17 again, it better equal 118. Or you got the number wrong. Yay? Okay, let's try number 18. Can you find the 5 means between negative 16 and negative 58? Let's try. Oh, that's sweet. Like angels singing in my room. All right, step 1. Can you find the common difference using the slope formula? So I'm adding 16. See if I can do this right. I think it's 42. And it's negative 42 divided by 6. So the common difference is negative 7. And then subtract 7. And so the means are negative 23, negative 30, negative 37, negative 44, negative 51. Those are your answers. And then if you subtract 7 again, does it finish it off? Does it fit? Okay, try number 19 and number 20. Now, if you don't want to write it out, you can think. So if I just wanted to think, you go 5 subtract 17, yes? In the denominator, if there are 7 means, that means we have 1 in front and 1 behind. How many is that altogether? 9. So you go 9, take away 1, right? If you just wanted to think about it and not write it out. You won't like this one because it's going to be a fraction. So negative 12 divided by 8 is negative 3 halves. So because I let you use your calculator, it doesn't matter because the calculator will do the hard work, right? It's of common denominators. But if you did it, you get 31 over 2, 14, 25 over 2, 11, 19 over 2, 8, and 13 over 2. And again, you would start with 17, and you would subtract 3 over 2, get an answer. Subtract 3 over 2, get an answer. You could, especially if it's a decimal that's a finite decimal. You know what I mean? Like if it was a decimal that went on forever kind of thing, then you wouldn't do it that way. All right, number 20. Can you find the 4 means? Do you want to just get to it? Like, what is the common difference? What should I write down? 3,570, take away 2,265. If there's 4 means, that means there's a term in front and a term behind, which means how many terms are there? So it's 6 take away 1. It's okay to use your calculator. And that answer is 261. So what do? Is I take the first term and I add 261. And you can use your calculator. Add 261. Add 261. Add 261. And you just found the 4 arithmetic means. All right, here's where we're going to end, is with the stories. And if I need to do one more story on the video to finish off the lesson, then I'll do that. And then I'll send you the video links from there. Let's see. 21. A theater has how many seats? In the first row, 39 seats in the second row, 43 seats in the third. Is that an arithmetic sequence? Because it's going up by how many every time? So the common difference is 4. Do you see it's going up by 4 every time? And that A1 would equal what?
39.
So if I write down the rule, it would be 4, and then n subtract 1 plus 35. It says, write both an explicit and recursive formula to find the number of seats in the nth row. So that would be the explicit, or would that be the implicit, or the recursive? And the recursive would just be n minus 1 plus 4. All right, number 22. Ryan weighed himself at the end of each week into his new diet. The table at the left shows his weight at the end of each week for the first 3 weeks. Write an explicit rule to find his weight in n weeks. So an explicit rule would be, first of all, what's the common difference? You can use your calculator. The common difference is negative 1.7 by subtracting. That's how much weight he's losing every week. And then the rule would be n subtract 1 plus 256.3. If I want to know after 16 weeks, what number would I plug in to find his weight after 16 weeks? So you'd use the rule, plug in 16 and use your calculator. And after 16 weeks, he would weigh 230.8. All right, one last one, so we can get it all in the video. On Anna's first birthday, her grandma gave her a check to open a college savings account. Her grandma continued to send checks on her birthday, and each of the same amount. At 7 years old, Anna's grandma had given her a total of $610. At 18 years old, Anna's grandma had given her a total of $1,270. So you telling me the 7th term is 610. The 18th term is 1,270. Do you see how I changed them into points? How would I find the common difference? y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. What am I finding when I do the common difference? Is how much money each birthday, right? So can you subtract 1270 take away 610? That's 600 and then divided by 11, how much money for each birthday? $66. How much money did Anna's grandma give her on her? So the common difference, is it 66 or 60? Good. Now, what the rule would be is, you can use the seventh term. So the common difference is 60. And then we go n subtract 7 plus 610. Do you see how we use the first point and the common difference? And then the first birthday, how much money did she start with? What number would you plug in for the first birthday? You would plug in 1 and then use your calculator. So 60 times negative 6 plus 610. How much money did she start with? So the question is, how much money did her grandma give her on her first birthday? It was 250, and then, I know, you're jealous. Don't worry, my grandma did give me $250 out of it. So, Mr. G Math, over and out.